Now let's unpack these latest crime stats with criminologist at the Tshwane University of Technology, Professor Kholofelo Rakubu, and she's going to be telling us, especially zooming in on the numbers about what the stats are saying about the killing of women and children in our country. Good afternoon, Prof. Thank you very much for your time. Not a good set of statistics. I mean, although according to the Minister of Police, year on year there was a reduction in reported rapes, but the number of women who've been raped continues to be high.
Thank you, Dean. Yes, however, it's not even shocking. I think as a country we expected this due to the numbers. Every month, every week, a female is killed somewhere, and we always go back to the fact that addressing GBV in South Africa is very complex. And what makes it complex? It's because of one of its biggest barrier. It's underreporting, and that hinders our capability and ability as the country to understand the magnitude of GBV. Remember, we have to deal with crime that is caused by interplay of multiple factors, being the individual, community, economic, cultural, religious factors. However, today we were hearing from one institution, which is the SAPS. Now, what we need to understand is that resources have been made available for the prevention of or dealing with GBV. But what we were hearing today from the minister is what they are doing from their side. We can always try to analyze what they are doing, but we also need to understand other factors that have been found to be at play in this matter. The underreporting, community influence, and lack of other critical stakeholders' involvement in this case. And always, I will always refer to municipalities and local government's role in this. Because from the SAPS point of view, we should also be going to another critical state, another critical area, which is the local community safety. How do we now deal with issues of underreporting? How do we now deal with issues of supporting victims that are in the communities? Because multiple research provides evidence that there's re-victimization, there's underreporting due to victimization and fear of victimization by our own families, by communities, by religious structures. Yes, by religious structures as well.
Yeah, the other point that was made by the minister when they were announcing these latest stats is that the bulk of the rapes, for example, and sexual offences occurred in the homes of the victims. But just another factor from the stats, as you're talking, it's a complex problem. There's a number of stakeholders. But when it comes to conviction, according to the stats, between April and June this year, the minister said 286 rapists were convicted through the work done by the Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit. But only 46 of them were sentenced to life behind bars. If you had to interpret what lies under that, would I be wrong in saying that our courts maybe need to act even more harshly?
Indeed, our courts need to be very harsh because we need general deterrence here. The minute an offender in the community hears that if I get caught or if I'm convicted of rape, I will still come back, or the manner in which our correctional services or centers are projected, that sends a wrong connotation to offenders out there that I can go to prison and come back because it seems as if life is easier there. Then let's come back to court. For court to successfully convict, we need assistance still from relevant structures, particularly victim assistance and victim support. So the minute communities re-victimize victims, then they are likely not to even provide or proceed with the matter. They are not even likely to report. And this also sends wrong information that if you open a case, you are subject, there's possibility that you might be even killed by this offender because there's so much opportunity for the offenders to roam around communities and re-victimize. So now I have to protect myself. I choose life versus process to ensure conviction, or to assist justice system ensure conviction.
Yeah, but also that justice part is delayed for many women who've been victims of sexual offences and who've been raped because of the backlog in the DNA process there as well. I mean, that's also critical in trying to bring to book the perpetrators.
Yes, true. There has been multiple calls with regard to these backlogs, because those backlogs, though they are not thoroughly communicated, as an ordinary citizen, since I don't receive much information with the procedures and the backlog, they automatically assume the courts or the justice system does not do anything. And what we should remember then is that the minute there's that backlog, SAPS is taking a backlash. It looks like now, as the police, they are not doing anything. They're taking all the blames, because I guess maybe because it's the first leg to ensuring justice. Then with that misinformation, more rapes and more victimizations are not reported because of that backlog, because of the DNA issues, which have been long-standing. And I think not much is communicated with those backlogs, because we're not getting into as why, because there's so much, it should be treated with urgency, because the minute we get conviction, there's a positive message, and there's all that also taps into the integrity of our justice system. We should be working or reviewing all these challenges. If we need more resources as justice system, that should be looked into. There should be budgeting, there should be training. If there is maybe incapacitation and so forth, there should be all those aspects to ensure that we rebuild community and we gain trust and we serve our clientele effectively.
Yeah. Now, on the question of murder, I mean, I know you said these numbers are not shocking. We were expecting it because we know that gender-based violence is an epidemic in our country, and it's a huge, complex issue to tackle, as you've explained. But I mean, it is a tragedy that between April and June, 855 women and 243 children were killed in our country. I mean, 243 kids.
That talks to the level of violence in South Africa. Are we that violent? What message are we sending to the world? Where are we getting it wrong as the country? Is it due to lack of enforcement? Because now this, though we're not shocked, because we talk violence every day. However, this talks to our community structures as well, because all these crimes are committed within our communities. All these offenders are known to victims. Where are we getting it wrong? As communities, to what extent do we assist the justice system in identifying root causes of violence? Because it's us as community members that understand clearly who are these offenders and what contributes to this high rate of violence. So we need to come together. Communities need to have their structures and safety plans in place and link it to other relevant stakeholders for SAPS to effectively deal with those crimes. As community members, we need to assist, we need to identify, we need to explore, because all these crimes, they tapped into the socioeconomic factors, the imbalance of power and gender inequalities, and discriminatory patriarchal practices against women. So if all those can be taken into consideration when we're planning towards crime prevention, or when we take issues of crime prevention seriously as our responsibilities, we might be able to assist. Because for police to come to the community, they need my information. I'm the one who can describe these offenders. I'm the one who can identify hotspots and so forth.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your analysis this afternoon of the latest crime stats, at least a section of them. We were focusing on the crimes, sexual violence and murder, and others against women and children in terms of the latest numbers for the first quarter of this new financial year of government. That's April, May to June of this year.